Hi, everyone. My name is Steve Mast, and I'm the President and Chief Innovation Officer here at Delvinia, which is a global research tech company. Like many of you, we're all looking for ways to help fight the global pandemic coronavirus. And here at Delvinia, we've been looking at ways of how do we retool our capabilities or look for some of our partners to help get into the fight. Last year, we became a key investor and partner with one of the really interesting technology firms known as PersonaPanels, which uses a technology called animated personas. Basically, they virtualized people or that represent segments of the population, and they monitor their interests and trends in real time. I'm here today with my good friends at PersonaPanels. Hey, Steve, Mike. And these
Hey,
guys are going to be
Steve.
joining us to really take you through a presentation or a report that they've been working on, specifically targeting one of their virtual segments, and that's millennials. They've been publishing the results every week now, so they have some trending data to share with you as well. And they're really publishing the data for free to the community to really help. So we thought, why not join into our networking community and try to sort of support this great initiative that they're on as well. So let me pass things over to Mike and Steve, and they'll take you through their methodology and quickly talk about 3 key insights for this week. Over to you guys.
Thank you, Steve. And let's start with animated personas, of course, and what they are. They're machine learning agents. They represent consumers of various types, and they can be built from all sorts of data, segmentation data, other primary market research data that a company may have, and they represent an opportunity to add life to traditional data that ages over time. And with that, I'll turn it over to Steve.
Thanks, Mike. We'd like to show you some of our findings that we have been collecting over the course of the past 8 weeks. And the first one really gets into, as Mike was saying, the machine learning aspect of animated personas. As you can imagine, animated personas are built from human elements. And really what happens is that over the course of time, as we can see here from this map, this heat map, is that we do see animated personas evolving, very similar to human interests in specific types of information. This is represented by, on the far left, where we take a look at February 13th and a 2-week increment since then. We see fairly low interest across the board of all of our 6 animated personas in information and articles relative to coronavirus. And that has significantly changed as we take a look on the far right over March 23rd. This shows that animated personas do in fact pick up interests that humans do as well, evolve over time, and then can actually be representative of what your individual segments, which are your animated personas, are going to be feeling over the course of time. The second finding that we found specifically with regard to looking at the generational segment of millennials that we have created for animated personas is that they really do not behave the same way. We can see here from the bar charts from the beginning of February, middle of February through March, that each of the different millennial cohorts has had peaks and valleys. The one thing that we have seen across the board, and this is representative of all the different articles that the individual personas have read, is that the interest levels have been climbing. Not surprisingly, they started approximately on the week of March 2nd when media coverage started to really ramp up and have remained fairly high since. And again, this is due to obviously the information that's available in the media, increased vigilance, travel restrictions, social distancing rules, and other types of information that are currently available. But each of the individual personas do not behave in the exact same way. An example of that is actually our third finding. We've looked at a variety of different categories, and one has been travel-related articles. The interesting thing that we found here is that one of the millennial animated personas, specifically our tech geek persona, has always had very high levels of interest in travel-related issues. This is because as part of its creation, its foundation, that audience has a very strong affinity for travel in general. And we had seen relatively lower levels across the other millennial cohorts. However, in the past week, when we basically have had a lot more information about travel restrictions and individual states and the CDC coming up with new guidelines and much less about what was originally seen with regard to travel issues, about delayed vacations and flights and other alternatives, we happen to see very high levels in the past week with regard to travel issues amongst pretty much all of our millennial cohorts. The anticipation is that this level will continue as we talk more and more about travel restrictions and what's now impacting 3 out of 4 Americans from what I recently just heard on a recent newscast. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Mike for the other findings that we have from the study. Mike?
Thanks, Steve. Although millennials are not media-driven and may think of themselves as a group that is somewhat invincible and therefore doesn't need to have the same concerns as others, our research shows that they are not trying to escape the coverage surrounding everything from potential new vaccines to treatment options, testing, and how hospitals are attempting to meet the challenge. As you can see, millennial animated personas have increasingly shown interest in health-related information, with the vast majority having more than 80% interest, with some having quadrupled their interest since mid-February. In addition to uncovering interest, animated personas can also explore the importance of what they're reading. For example, their strong interest in health-related articles are fueled by the World Health Organization's daily confirmation of global cases, the use of the word pandemic to describe what's going on, and epidemiological data suggesting that all age groups are fair game for coronavirus. And with that, I'll turn it over to Steve.
Thanks, guys. So feel free to grab a copy of the report. And then each week, we're going to be here to give you a very quick sort of 10-minute overview of what those 3 key insights. In the report, you'll see much more information, a lot more deeper data and insights. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us and ask us questions as well, because Mike and Steve would be happy to answer your questions every week. So we're going to be here really until this thing ends in providing you as much data and insight. Stay safe and stay well. Thanks, guys.